Kerry Stellar with MMA UK and in the Girls Corner, and I'm here speaking with Felicia Spencer. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Good. How's everything been going since the last time we spoke? You had just won the Invicta featherweight championship against Pam Sorensen, and that was huge. And again, big congratulations.
Thanks. It's been great. I mean, I'm staying busy. Obviously some great news recently with signing to the UFC. Yeah, just enjoying training and looking forward to my next step.
Do you have any idea who they might put you up against? Is that something that you've talked about yet?
Not much. I'm not really sure yet what direction they're gonna go. I know that they're signing a handful of new featherweights. From what I'm kind of guessing or feeling is that they're gonna kind of put me with one of the new signees to kind of, I think it would make sense to kind of build it up. Or they could, want me to go up to the top already with Megan or anyone else really. I'm open to talking about any of it though, so.
I think it's really huge too because I was actually really, really worried after the Cyborg Nunes fight and that Amanda didn't want to compete again at 145. I'm like, shit, were they just doing that to dissolve the division? I was so worried, but clearly not.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of thinking the same thing. Like, is this their moment to let it go? So I was definitely surprised. I mean, initially I got a call from Shannon Knapp from Invicta. I owe it all to her and her support, to make that next step. So it was really from her first, and then she got into contact with them. So yeah, it's great.
That is so awesome. And we were just so I'm like, oh, do you think that's gonna happen? And oh man, that's the biggest call that you can get besides being in the biggest women or practically the only women's organization out there. So that's huge, and in such a short time.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me it feels like a long time coming, but at the same time I always knew it could happen at any time. I didn't expect it to happen next. I really thought I was going to be defending my belt, and yeah, I mean, I'm just really grateful to have the opportunity.
What is that feeling? I mean, it's got to be, I could say indescribable, but what kind of words can you put it into, the feeling of being able to say, I reached that level, I'm there now?
I mean, I don't know if it's fully sunk in yet. I feel like maybe when I'm in the cage or, fight week might really actually sink in. I mean, it feels right too. So it all kind of just feels like the plans are coming together. Like for some reason, my plans always come come to fruition. So it's just like the next step, and I just feel super supported. I know there's a lot of people hating too, but that's fine. Like I don't care.
That's
So
their problem.
yeah, it's like it makes it interesting, I guess. So yeah, it's unreal. I used to say that a lot. I mean, it's like I don't even know what to think. It's just here I am, so I'm coming for it.
That's amazing. When I saw you post it, I was like, oh, I'm so excited for you. I'm practically jumping up and down because it really is. It's just a gigantic step, and especially in a division where there aren't a ton of fighters. So you really have a huge opportunity to make your stamp. And I remember I can't remember exactly who you fought right before Pam. When you were speaking to Lauren Sanko and you said, I'd love to fight Megan Anderson. And she's like, well, we're not in the same organization. Well, now you are.
Yeah, it was Helena. I think that was the fight where I said that. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, there's not many steps to the top, and I do feel like, I feel like it's not just a signing for me; it's for my division. It's I want to build the division, so it's I feel like it's not just great for me; it's great for the division. So I'm definitely honored to be hopefully helping build it and hopefully become the face of the division. Just take the next step.
It's definitely, I feel like that's what they were aiming for because they can't just cut it. People really enjoy seeing the featherweights, not just the fans, the media. We all love seeing it. So, I don't think that would have been a right move for them, but I think that bringing in you and other females and, I just think it really can be a huge move to help build it up because it needs it. you guys need a huge attention, and I just think it's so great. I can't wait for you. Do you know, have they talked about any time maybe about putting you on a certain card yet? With, just kind of in talks about a time frame?
Nothing specific. They kind of, hoping for something relatively soon. So I'm thinking like early summer, is probably what I'm expecting. So yeah, I think it would all line up pretty well. Not too far off.
I think that would be awesome. I would love to see them put you up against Megan. I think that would be. I think that wouldn't be something out of their character to do.
Right.
I've seen them put, your debut fighter in the UFC against, like what Priscilla Cachoeira against Valentina. So they do it. That wouldn't be shocking. What
Yeah.
do you think is going to happen with the belt? Because now it's obviously vacated.
Yeah. I think they're just gonna kind of build it back up. I imagine, maybe they'll do Cyborg and Megan for the belt right off the bat. I definitely see them, putting me with Megan too. I can see it. Again, for kind of the feeling I got was maybe, the other entry level featherweights. But like you said, there's been, half the featherweight division made their pro debut fighting Cyborg, or their UFC debut fighting Cyborg. So, and then dropping down. So
I was just gonna say that.
anything can happen. I know it would be an interesting fight. I also feel like it might be exciting to kind of let it stir up a little bit longer, because
Yeah.
I know it's one of the more interesting fights for the division, me and Megan, and it could be interesting to have it kind of stir up a little bit too.
Absolutely. I mean, both of you being former Invicta champions in the featherweight division, so that's just a huge, storyline right there. And I mean, you guys are arguably the only two true featherweights that I know of right now in that division. A lot of the girls, like you said, jump ship down to bantamweight. You have the girl that won the Ultimate Fighter. Her first fight back was at bantamweight. I don't think she has any intentions of going back up.
Yeah, not that I'm really hearing. And if she did, it'd be great. Or I know I think Bay also signed as a bantamweight, which surprised me a little bit. But wherever they feel comfortable, honestly, I'm comfortable at featherweight, and if bantamweights move up, that's fine. I don't have anything against that. They probably cut twice the amount of weight that I do. They're probably more healthy to be featherweights anyway, but it's not on me. So I'd rather be healthy, feeling good, and I'm not afraid of the featherweight division. So I'm just gonna stick around and take it.
Well, you don't have any reason to fear it. You seem to be doing just fine at featherweight. I think 145 is great for you. I know we've talked about if they ever opened up a, what is it, light heavyweight, where, they have that over at other organizations. Would you ever move up? What I really want to know, like, you're newly signed. What is it like going from Invicta, where you can have the banner with all the names? Now you're under a Reebok sponsorship, under their, like, their main spot. What does that all feel like? Did you get any cool stuff yet?
No, I mean, right now, I'm just kind of gonna keep my good relationship with the sponsors that I had,
Okay.
and some of them are, people that I can promote in between. It doesn't have to be fight week. I know I won't be able to do that, but it doesn't mean, I can't represent, Combat Corner. I'm always representing my other side. One of my biggest sponsors. They have a lot of awesome stuff. They're just opening up, all of their selection of items, and nothing's really for sale yet, but I want to push it so bad, and that'll be perfect opportunity. Just, social media is where it's at for the sponsors right now. So I'm still going to do my part and make them happy as much as I can.
Well, it's funny because a lot of people think that they won't be able to sponsor a UFC fighter because of the Reebok thing. And I said, no, I've told people that's the whole point of social media. That's where you get your push from. Social media is I'd say arguably the biggest marketing tool of today, because how many people are on it all over the place, all over the world. So that's a smart thing. I love it.
Yeah, it's yeah, I don't see any problem with it. I was kind of bummed that I wouldn't be able to wear my sponsors in the cage anymore, but again, I'll find a way to make it worth their while.
You absolutely will. Now, what what does this mean for women? I know we've talked about that before, but this is just huge. You know, we really do have a gigantic movement going in MMA and in the world. What does this mean for you to be signed with arguably the biggest organization in mixed martial arts in one of the what could be one of the biggest divisions in the women's division over there?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, it's crazy that how it all just happens. I mean, I know I work hard, I make a lot of things happen, but it's crazy when it all really comes through the way that you planned or sort of. So, I feel really lucky, and I don't feel like a lot of bad pressure. I feel really positive pressure, like energy that I can push forward with to, like you said, to promote the division. It's not just about me, it's about the division. But I am here to make a statement, and just go as far as I can. So yeah, I'm excited for what the future holds and what kind of an impact I can make on inspiring other people, not just girls, but I have a lot of young boys that I teach in my class, the young girls and boys working together, and that's what it's all about. So just, showing them anyone can be anything they want. So.
And you just answered my question. I was going to say, what advice could you give to young people? Because, people get discouraged and think things are never going to happen, especially if they're taking a little longer than what they had expected.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was, what advice besides that can you give to them? Because this is a dream come true for you. You said you hadn't expected it yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about consistency. I tell kids in jiu-jitsu class, I'm a math teacher too, I tell everyone consistency is the key to success. If it's not every day is going to be a great day at the gym, academically, whatever it may be, you just have to stick it through, and you'll find a way to make it happen if you really want it. So it's not just about wanting it, it's about working for it, and it's always going to have up and down days, but how you interpret your down days is how you can grow stronger too.
Absolutely. And what would you want to do with your platform to be able to impact people? Because you will, this is a big platform, big opportunity to do big things. And what big things would you want to do, Felicia?
That's such an open question. I'm not really sure how to.
I like to pick questions that are going to make you think.
Yeah, it's a good one. I mean, I just want to have a positive impact, and I want to legitimize my division. That's number one. I feel like there's so much hit or miss with the division. Proving not just for myself. I keep just pushing this division, and positivity is always something that I can't help but push. It's pretty hard for me to be negative. So, just being able to enjoy the sport, as intense as it can be, as aggressive as it can be, just being able to, find passion and enjoyment out of something. And it's not all about competing. It's just about doing something you're passionate about. So.
Well, it's great to watch you and lead up to fights, because you're not that typical fighter where you see a lot of people like have kind of build it off of trash talk and build it off of being, having that persona. And you don't seem to, that's not your thing. I don't seem to see that changing for you either.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I always have to be honest. If I try to say something and I'm not being honest with myself, I'm just going to crack up laughing. I'm laughing right now. My fiance is driving around in a circle in a truck right now, making me laugh. So yeah, I mean, I'll always try to build myself, being more maybe outspoken. But whatever I say, I always try to make sure it's really, something truthful, or there's some kind of intelligence behind the comments, or I'll find my way to be more outspoken. But I don't think it always has to be so negative. But I get it too. Everyone can have their own way to promote themselves. So yeah, I'll find my way.
Hey, you can always do it with a smile.
Yeah.
Saying F you with a smile, it's hysterical, because it's true. You can say what you want, but do it, still
I have to be genuine. Yeah, I have to be
yeah.
myself. Otherwise, I can't not be myself. So whatever comes out, and it'll be honest, whatever it is. So.
Awesome. Now you've been doing some new journeys with karate. You started as a white belt, which people wouldn't think that you would start as, but explain some of that.
Yeah, well, I have a background in traditional, martial arts. I did taekwondo when I was a kid for like 14 years, constantly training. And I've the last like 10 years, pretty much 10 years, I've mostly just focused on wrestling, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, Muay Thai, and my coach Seth Petrozelli, a lot of people know him too. His background is in some traditional karate. He kind of went back to it over the last couple of years, just dabbling back in it, rekindling that passion for it, and he started training it, and then he decided he's going to open up the upstairs of our gym. I'm at the gym right now. The upstairs part of it is now the dojo for him. It's his, bringing back his passion, and it is a completely different style. So I was really excited. I asked him, can I be a white belt again? Like, I want to start from the bottom. It's been so long since I've moved in that way that I really wanted to just like not put pressure on being great at it. But it feels awesome to kind of start something new. It is, some of it's very familiar, but I'm loving learning all the differences, between the styles, and just kind of building my way back up on something. It's really exciting to start a new journey again.
That's amazing. Hey, and you could apply everything that you learned in the cage in the future. Did you just get your black belt, or was that a ceremony that you had? Because I saw something with you standing with everybody with your black belts and the certificate. And what was that about?
Great question, actually. I've had my black belt for I think like 3 years. Actually, this month I think it was 3 years. That was actually really special. In Central Florida, there's a black belt. His name is Laborio. He's one of the, I think, the founders of ATT. So he's really, well known in the area, in Florida, in the community in general. He worked really closely with UCF, which is the university here in Orlando, and some of the local high schools. And they created a program where they actually have BJJ on the curriculum. So the students can actually take a class at UCF and get college credit, to taking and learning jiu-jitsu. So he had a big gathering club, and the same thing with the high schools. They have 8 high schools offering that an elective credit. So instead of
really?
Yeah, I know, it's awesome. So he just had like a really big positive group of, like, I've never been in a room full of so many black belts. There was like probably 70 black belts and like 30 color belts there, just at the university. The picture that I think you might be referring to was at my gym, but
yes.
We did there first. It was just really special. And then they, explained what all the positive stuff they were working on, thanking the BJJ community for just like always being, for the community, and just reminding ourselves that even though we compete with, our neighbors at the neighbor gym, we compete, blah, blah, blah. But, it really is all about building the sport. And it's amazing that is happening. And it was just kind of to support that movement in Central Florida. So.
Would that be something that you would do in the future now that they're having that in schools and that's where you're centrally located? Would that be something for you, maybe being a college wrestling coach, a BJJ coach or something? Because if they're going to offer it as elective, you never know. That might become like a sport, you know what I mean? In schools, not that it's not with us, but in schools, that would be amazing.
Like, instead of being a club, it is a club sport right now. So yeah, I can see that in the future being, like you said, like a NCAA sport.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm excited about it. Right now, I have my full-time teaching job where I feel like I wouldn't want to take any new commitments for anything, pretty much, aside from just
future.
In the future, yeah. I mean, if I can get to the point making enough money where I feel like I'm comfortable to like stop teaching temporarily, full time, where I can train more full time, then I feel like those kinds of extra pieces of I mean, it would be like work, but it would at the same time be exciting to get involved with that. So I would totally be open to teaching those college courses, high school courses, just traveling around and working with kids, and it would be really cool. Like, I'm really excited to see what they're doing with it this year.
And I mean, with your background already, it wouldn't be too hard considering you are a teacher. So it's not like you don't have that accreditation where you can teach.
That's really cool. I can definitely see myself being involved in this.
absolutely. I mean, and like you said, in the future, because you have a lot with, with the UFC, with, you train at the jungle,
The
jungle,
jungle, yeah.
the jungle.
Um,
Okay. Tell us about that.
yeah, well, I'm here at the gym, a few times a day, most days, and I love training here because we have people who specialize in everything, right? So we have people who are good at MMA, but also people who are amazing at jiu-jitsu, amazing at wrestling, amazing at one specific thing. And then when we come all together, we just make each other so much better. That's why I've stuck around. The coaching is awesome. There's been a lot of coaches throughout the years, but Seth Petrozelli and Mike Lee own the gym, and they've been around, so they know me. And I just, yeah, that's my family, so I'm really happy here. The kids class, that a couple of them competing over the weekend, got some swords, first time competitors even getting medals. So yeah, it's amazing. It's a big family, and a lot of gyms can't say that. I know I've been to a few gyms, not a whole lot, but I've also heard people who have traveled around, they really feel the family that we have at the gym. So I'm really lucky to be a part of it.
I lost you for a second. I'm sorry. What was the last part?
I'm really lucky to be a part of such a good gym.
That is because, a lot of people that I talk to, I see a lot of people that'll kind of not jump around the gym, but they do. They don't stay at the same place. And because, I mean, I guess maybe it's just because it's here in New York that, like, people here are just like super competitive and have attitudes all the time. I mean, I guess you can anywhere, but we're just a special breed of attitudey people. I mean, so I think that's super important. Not just for somebody that's training to fight, but even somebody that's just, doing martial arts, or a form of mixed martial arts, because, you got to like where you're walking into, especially if you're going there all the time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I would be, I've hoped I would cross train a little more, but at the same time, when I'm offered a chance to go train at this gym for something, I'm like, well, I don't want to miss this class at my gym because it's so valuable to me. So it's really hard for me to like pull myself away sometimes. There's never a day where I'm not learning something or improving something where I feel like I'm stuck. So I guess the day that happens would be a day I consider a change, more so. Uh, but also, again, kind of going along the lines with, like, if I had a little bit more flexibility in my schedule, I could probably travel a little more often, if I had the right kind of money to do that too. So it'll all come in time. I'm sure my game will evolve as I, get to that level where I can do that too. So it's just the
Well, I
beginning.
mean, I think you'll be traveling for fights soon, so that's
Yeah. I'm just excited to be, reaching I feel like my full potential, over the next few years when hopefully it all comes together like I plan, and I can really dedicate that much more time to, training, specific things, recovery, just adding little new elements to my game, finding time to do things like my, learning karate and that kind of thing, just adding to my game. I feel like all of it comes together for me really great. I'm just excited.
Do you put a lot of things out there into the universe before it happens? Like, are you a fan of, like, kind of putting your plans out there, verbalizing them? Because it seems like that might be a thing that you do, because that's the law of attraction right there. It's just really funny because I'm like listening to you, like, oh, she's just so adorable. She's talking about the law of attraction over and over.
It does kind of happen like that. I don't put like everything out there that I plan to do because everyone has that sort of fear of coming up short. Certain things I'm pretty comfortable to say. A lot of it I think I just kind of hold it in, and I'm just like, this is gonna happen. This is what I
Yeah.
want, and then I don't really say anything, and then it just
But you're still thinking it. You're thinking the positive.
I'm always thinking about the next level. So, I always have plans kind of, churning around in there. And then, some things I'm pretty confident are going to happen. I'm going to say it, as often as I can.
That really is gigantic, and enough people don't get that the theory of the more you speak and think negative, the more negative you're going to get, right? So the more you sit there and think and speak and like you change your thoughts to something positive, like, you're constantly thinking about your next move, and it's a positive move. So it's not like, oh man, this is going to happen. And that's huge because clearly it's working.
Yeah.
I mean, it comes from like, a lot of people like to do meditation and stuff, right? And I don't think that they teach positive thought and self-talk enough.
Yeah, you're right. The attitude that you have, like I might have mentioned before, if something's hard or you're not doing as well as yourself, it's understanding and just being forgiving of yourself when you have those shortcomings, to just know that when you'll get there, and it's just a matter of, like I said, consistency and hard work. So yeah, I push that all the time, just being okay to allowing yourself to struggle. It's part of learning. So
Maybe that's part of your future. At the end of the day, it's so funny because I listen to a lot of motivational people instead of really, I watch TV, I watch a lot of the Food Network, but I do listen to a lot of people speaking on motivational stuff and techniques. And, I'm like, well, I could be learning something worse, right? I could see you, imparting your wisdom on the world like that, because why not? You have a great smile and a great personality, and you know what you're talking about.
that would be pretty amazing to do something like that on a bigger scale. In the meantime, I'll take it with just my one-on-one with my students and just helping them, figure out this life.
One person turns into many.
Yep, exactly. So
how old are the kids you teach?
Well, the little gorillas at our gym are between 4 and 12. So it's a pretty wide range of kids. With my job with algebra, I teach 6th through 12th grade, so any age really. So I'm working with all the different age groups.
Do you feel like both of them help you with each other, like that you teach, jujitsu and MMA, and that you teach algebra? You said, right?
Yeah.
That's got to help each other, because it probably gives you techniques to do one and the same.
Yeah, I've never really thought about the connection, but I mean, teaching is just a matter of practice, and you'll find you find new ways to approach struggling students, whether it's physically struggling with a move or mentally struggling with getting through some lesson. Yeah, you'll definitely, the technique, I think it just comes from practice. I've been teaching kids since I was a kid, 12 years old, helping the younger kids class at my taekwondo school. And then I was like 14-year-olds teaching adult class, like it's just always been a part of what I've been doing, and a part of my life has been teaching. So it's just been a huge experience that I guess, yeah, it's not really something that, like, teaching isn't something I can teach so much as just do.
Yeah.
I guess teaching it is something impossible, but it's just a matter of experience and just being open to understanding every person is a completely different situation, and I don't try to put everyone into the same hole. Some kids need tough love, some kids don't. Some kids need different things. So it's a matter of finding out what kid you're working with.
Absolutely.
They're just the same.
It's so true. It's so true. And Felicia, I know that you have a very busy day of training and everything. And I just wanted to, thank you so much for taking your time, as always, to speak to me. And I wanted to have you take the floor and just tell everybody what they can expect out of you and I hate the word expect, but yeah, no, that's a decent word for it. What can everybody expect from you in the future in the UFC cage?
Man, I'm gonna make a statement. I can't see it going any other way. I mean, I'm meant to win my first fight. I'm gonna win it. I'm gonna make a statement. Again, I don't like decisions. It's gonna be something fun. I mean, it's always something fun when I'm fighting. So yeah, just expect the best version of me coming out and taking over the division. So
And also give yourself some time to thank your sponsors, give them a little shout out, because that time is going to be nearing where you can't do it as much as we would like.
of course, well, first of all, you and any media that reach out, I really appreciate you guys reaching out and just being supportive of me and my journey. All the fans, it's really amazing how many people can get impacted by someone like me, I guess. And then, like my sponsors, like The Other Side Apparel, again, look out for their new stuff coming out. I've had longtime sponsors with Lucas Wine and Spirits. Combat Corner is pretty awesome, always hooking me up with good training gear and fight wear. So I'm sure there's more. Idle Hour, there's a few that are always helping out, that are falling off my head right now. But yeah, thank you for letting me shout out my sponsors.
Anytime. And I will be contacting you for an interview before you get your fight, when you get actually the name that you're going to get in there with. And I'm so excited for you, and I cannot wait to find out who you're going to face in the UFC cage. And I just can't express how happy I am for you, Felicia. This is just huge, and you deserve it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so excited. Please reach out. I love talking with you. So I'd love to share the news of the opponent with you.
Will do. Thank you again, and keep kicking ass, and we'll see you in the cage.
All right. Thanks. Bye, guys.
Bye.